Hey guys, Sean here. Today, Luke and I are back with another tier list. Today we'll be ranking the best draw cards in the new Yu-Gi-Oh! Genesis format. So for those who don't know, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Genesis format is a new format Konami announced, which bans all Link monsters and Pendulum monsters, and unbans every other card in the game. The only catch is, cards will be assigned a point value, and you can only build a deck up to 100 points. Now a lot of cards are free, but some cards will maybe cost 10 points, 50 points, 100 points. So the more points a card costs, the less cards you can put in your deck. This is the foundation of Genesis format, so you want cards that are strong, yet cheap. For example, a card like Allure of Darkness is 5 points, so you can easily put 3 copies of that in your deck, but a card like Pot of Greed is 30 points, so you can put 3 copies of Pot of Greed in your deck, which is awesome, but that will limit the other cards you can put in your deck. So these are concessions you need to keep in mind, and in this video we're going to be ranking the best draw cards in the Genesis format based on how strong they are and how many points they're worth. So without further ado, let's get into the list. We have some tiers here. We have
What Does It Do, One Day of Peak, Chicken Jockey, How Many Points, and At Least It's Free.
Alright, let's begin with the best card in the game. We have Pot of Greed.
Easily the top. It is great. Pot of Greed, simple as that. Apparently no one knows what it does, but I'm about to explain to you. With Pot of Greed, when you activate it, you are able to draw 2 cards.
Now this is insane. Now no one's played this card since the year 2004, and there's a good reason for that, because it's the best card ever printed in the game. And they knew that 21 years ago. But now it's back in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Genesis format, and the fact that you can play 3 copies of Pot of Greed is just really funny. There are a lot of decks that do not need points at all. So being able to play 3 copies of Pot of Greed is just hilarious. It's really, really good. Not all decks can play this card. Some of the better decks in the format have heavy point counts for their engine cards, so you won't be able to fit in like multiple Pot of Greeds. Maybe 1 Pot of Greed, so the fact that Pot of Greed is 30 points is very good, because you can at least fit 1 in the deck. So you can go back to GOAT format and play your 1 copy of Pot of Greed. But the fact that you can play 3 copies, especially in like stuff like Exodia. Of course, the Exodia deck was hit in the first kind of adjustment to the list, but it's still a fantastic card. In any deck that you can put this card in, it's fantastic. So we'll put this here in the top of the list. What does it do? Next up, Allure of Darkness. Now Allure of Darkness I'm going to put here just because it's a good draw card, of course. Draw 2 cards, banish a dark, and if you can't banish a dark, you have to discard your whole hand. It's only 5 points, which is fantastic. In dark decks, this can be really good. The only problem is, how many dark decks are going to be prevalent in Genesis format? That's the question. I'm not saying that there are none, but how good are these decks going to be? And when we think about how prevalent this card was in Malice format in the TCG, the Malice cards are available in Genesis format. The only problem is there are no links. So I've seen people run like small Malice engines to draw stuff, but are you going to run Allure of Darkness in Malice or in any deck really? It's up for debate. It's a great card, don't get me wrong, but it might not be fitting in every deck.
Yeah, this isn't really going to affect Genesis format all that much, just because Allure of Darkness is already unlimited in TCG, so it doesn't really matter. It's only 5 points. It's not for every deck, but some people can still utilize it, so definitely it deserves to be in the middle in Chicken Jockey. Okay, Drag Down by the Grave. It is free, however, it is not very good. We will put it in the second low tier in how many points, because it simply reads that both players reveal their hands, and then each player must choose 1 card from their opposing player's hand to be chosen to be discarded into the graveyard, and then both player gets to draw 1 card. It's fine. This is kind of like a fun low tech option in Dark World and stuff like that. However, it's just not really good. I don't really see a whole lot of people playing it. You know what? Actually, just the reveal the hand thing is making me reconsider this. I might put it down at the bottom tier, just in At Least It's Free, because it's speaking facts. It's free, however, it's not the best. You're giving your opponent full hand knowledge, which you don't really want in this format. I feel like you want to have this format open full of surprises, because every card is legal. So yeah, I probably would leave it down the bottom tier list in At Least It's Free.
Next up, Radiant Typhoon Vision, which very recently came out in Doom of Dimensions. It is free, and it's okay. I think you could probably, I'd say it goes about here. It's free, which is great. It is Allure of Darkness, but for quick play spells. So draw 2 cards, discard either an MST or a quick play spell, and if you can't, discard your whole hand. Now, I previously said that Allure of Darkness discards. It doesn't. It sends cards from your hand to the grave. However, Radiant Typhoon discards, which could be very good in stuff like Dark World. I have not checked how good Dark World is in Genesis format, but this could be a very funny way to discard your whole hand. Draw 2, discard all of your Dark World monsters, and just pop off. So it's funny in that regard. Decks in the TCG that would use this card would be like Sky Strikers and stuff like that, which unfortunately we can't play Sky Strikers in this format, no links. Pearly might be able to make good use of this, which is pretty cool, because they run a lot of quick play spells. So I think it has a lot of potential, and I'm excited to see people play it. I'm not sure how good the MST archetype is on its own in this format, but it's exciting to see, but it is very like restrictive, so we'll put it here for now. It's pretty cool. Next up, Reload. Oh god.
Reload. Here's the thing. Reload doesn't cost any points, but it's just not a good card.
No.
You're always going -1 with Reload, but at least it's free. Definitely deserves to be at the bottom of the list.
Next up, Graceful Charity. Now, under normal circumstances, I would say Graceful Charity is better. However, it's 40 points, which is an issue because you can only run 2 copies of it. It's great though, draw 3, discard 2. So, like in 99% of circumstances, it's a better card. However, you can run 3 Pot of Greed in a deck, but you can't run 3 copies of Graceful Charity. So, for that reason alone, we'll put her here. It's still a fantastic card. And in decks that want to discard, this is the better card. So, Graceful Charity. Awesome. Next up, Sekka's Light. It's okay. Sekka's Light allows you to draw 2 cards, but then for the rest of the duel, you cannot activate spell card effects. So, a very heavy cost. Only certain decks can use this. Mermail players were using this, but I don't think Mermail is a good deck this format. It could be, but considering links are banned, I know they don't use too many links, but they do use links. So, it could be good in certain decks. Like I think the format is open enough where you could have run this in certain decks, so we'll do put it here. It's free, so that's great. It's not going to take up any points, but it's alright. I think you could probably put it on here for now just because it is a very heavy restriction. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely the main deck that was able to take advantage of this was of course Burning Abyss, and Burning Abyss actually does have a very strong contention for this format. However, that would just be the one deck as opposed to the amount of other decks that are able to use Vision. I just think that Sekka's Light is a very good card, but it's just not as good as Vision, so just to be on the lower end of the mid tier list, so definitely on the lower end of Chicken Jockey.
Next up, Reckless Greed. Now, unfortunately, it's a trap card, so it's only really good in like either stall decks, like trap-based decks, or Exodia. And it's good, it's a free draw 2, you do skip your next 2 draw phases. But it's cool, draw 2 cards, so it's good in slower decks, and this format is supposedly supposed to be a slower format. It's free, which is great, but it's a trap, so yeah, I think we'll just put it here for now. It's not bad, but you'll only put it in so many decks.
Same with Super Rejuvenation. It kind of deserves to be next to Reckless Greed in the tier how many points, just because the deck that this is only really good in is Dragon Ruler. So Super Rejuvenation is free, but you know, you're kind of going to be short for space. I don't really see it being a main contender for a lot of lists. Again, you can only use it in few decks, so not a real place for it high enough on this list.
Next up we have Chicken Jockey, Chicken Game. I think it goes about here. So it's a field spell that draws you 1 card at the cost of 1,000 life points. It does other stuff as well, but for the most part you're using this card to draw cards. It's only 7 points, so you can run 3 copies for 21 points, which is not too bad. It's definitely good, it can fit in pretty much any deck. However, it's a draw 1, so it's limited, but it's not terrible. Next up, Cup of Ace. Now, believe it or not, Cup of Ace is free, and you have the possibility of drawing 2 cards. It's a gamble, and gambling is awesome, so it's the best card in the game. Anyway, next up, One Day of Peace. Both players draw 1 card, and then neither player takes damage until the end of the next turn. That's okay. Chicken Jockey's better.
Yeah, I still quite like it, just because I think it's good. It's great in stall decks and the likes, so you can probably see it being played quite a lot. It's worth 11 points, so it can be quite steep. So not every deck is going to be playing it, but if you can make the room, it could be worth the run.
Next to Pot of Desires. Pot of Desires it's a good card, but I do think, I'll put it up here. Banish 10 cards off the top of your deck, draw 2 cards. It's 20 points. Because the format is the way it is, you do tend to run more copies of like starters and stuff. So it's not like you're going to banish all of your really important cards. I think it's pretty good, to be honest. Not in every deck, of course. It might be cool in decks that like benefit from having cards banished. I know Sword Soul might be a good option. I think Sword Soul is actually pretty expensive though, so you might not run this card in Sword Soul. But you know, if any Gren Modu players out there might see use for this card. It's good in TCG, but only in like decks like Sky Strikers really. So It's not bad. It is a bit of a steep cost. I think just because of that, like, it's a good card. Don't get me wrong, but the point value is pretty high.
Yeah, the point value can be pretty steep at 20 points. Probably the best ratio you're going to be using desires with. You're kind of going on the basis that you want to be playing a deck that draws you a lot of cards. So probably a good ratio would be 2 copies of Pot of Greed and 2 copies of Pot of Desires. But that will just be in the case of the whole point of your deck is like going through your deck as quickly as possible. So yeah, it's good, but there are better draw cards for less of a steep of a cost.
Next up, Trade In. Trade In's pretty bad. It's a draw 2 by pitching a level 8 monster, which if you're playing a level 8 deck, is not too bad. It's 0 points as well, which is cool. But, like, what level 8 deck are you going to be playing? Like, Galaxy Eyes? Blue Eyes? Blue Eyes is pretty unplayable in this format, unfortunately. So, yeah, I don't know. It's okay. Draw 2 by discarding a level 8. Maybe there's certain other level 8 decks I'm not thinking of, but I just don't think it's fantastic. I honestly think Reckless Greed is better. Even Stupid Rejuvenation is better. You play it in more decks.
Yeah, I would probably agree. And then the same could be said for the next card, Card of Consonance. It's like fine, but only specific decks can use it. But even the decks that are able to take advantage of it don't really utilize it all that much. There was a pretty cool Blue Eyes Exodia deck I seen that uses both these cards, and I have to say it was very, very based. However, I don't know, I think that's the only deck that I would see these cards doing well in. For the rest of the card pool, not really the best.
Next up, Mirage of Nightmare. I'm going to put it up here.
Oh yeah, definitely in the second tier. It's a really good card. So it's basically, it's a continuous spell that like, during your opponent's standby phase, you draw until you have 4 cards in your hand, which can be really, really good for like back row decks, such as like Labyrinth and stuff like that. And then all what it means is that during the next standby phase, after you draw those cards, you randomly discard the same number of cards that you drew. So honestly, it's really, really good, and the fact that it's a discard as well means that Dark World can take advantage of it as well. I know we've been kind of like piping on about Dark World quite a lot, but I do think that it could be a really good deck in this format if their main engine isn't too steep. But Mirage is just great because it lets you, in theory, draw 4 cards, which is absolutely insane. Sure, it's during your opponent's standby phase, but that could draw you into hand traps, as you know.
Next up, Spirit of Pot of Greed. This card is like technically the best card in the game, also technically the worst card in the game. When you activate Pot of Greed, you draw 1 card. So Pot of Greed is turning into a draw 3 cards.
But also, when your opponent activates Pot of Greed, you get to draw a card as well.
That's a good point.
Only if he is in face-up attack position.
Alright.
Which is really bad because his attack stats are 100. So, yeah, not the best.
Yeah, not the best. Next up, Pot of Extravagance. This is 0 points. So any deck that doesn't need the extra deck basically gets a free draw 2. Eldritch, I'm fairly certain, is a very, very good deck in this format. And because of this card, they can just draw 2 cards for free, basically. So, yeah, what the heck? It banishes 6 cards from your extra deck randomly face down, and you draw 2 cards. So, it's just really, really good. The fact that it's free is kind of insane. I gotta be honest, this card's really, really good.
Okay, card of safe return. I would probably put it next to Chicken Game, maybe. It definitely deserves to be on the high end of the middle of the list. Actually, no, you know, it is a really good card. Okay, put it next to Pot of Extravagance. It is steep, don't get me wrong. It's 40 points in order to get this card in your deck, so you can't even run 3 copies of it. But it just reads that when a monster is special summoned from your graveyard, draw 1 card. Which, I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of different zombie decks in this format that people are going to be taking advantage of, and one of the main gimmicks of most zombie decks is the fact that you're able to special summon from the graveyard, and that's not a once per turn effect. If you were able to be constantly special summoning from your graveyard, you're able to draw a bunch of cards, so I think it definitely deserves to be high up on this list. It's banned in TCG for a reason. It is very, very powerful. 40 points might be fairly steep, but I feel like a bunch of the other zombie cards are going to be fairly low. But yeah, card of safe return definitely deserves to be on the lower end of One Day of Peak. Fantastic card, but I don't think every deck can utilize it.
Next up, Card of Demise. It's a steep cost, it's 40 points, but you will, if you have less than 3 cards in your hand, activate this card, draw until you have 3 cards in your hand, but during the end phase, you discard your whole hand. It's very good, but only in certain decks. So this would be another one of those like Exodia cards, and for that reason, we'll put it down here. Or trap deck cards. It's actually pretty good in trap decks, and stun decks as well. But stun decks are pretty hit in this format.
I will argue it is very good in Paleo, and Paleo is a very good deck in this format, so I put it maybe just a few slots up. Honestly, I'm really biased. I would put it above Allure. just because I think it is a very good card. I think a lot of different decks can utilize it. Sure, it's 40 points, so it is quite steep, so you're not going to be able to run 3 copies of it, but it is still a fairly good card.
Next up, Genesys, a generic rank 4 monster. I want to put him up here. He is a generic rank 4 for 10 points. His effect is you can detach a material to draw 2 cards, discard 1. You skip your next draw phase, but it's insane. As a draw card on its own, it's very, very good, of course. Only really works in rank 4 decks, or decks that can get out of rank 4, but it also has so much more utility. The fact that it can double one of your monster's attacks, or special summon a monster from the graveyard, it's insane. It's more than just a draw card. If we consider just the draw effect, and the fact that it is a monster, which is kind of hard to summon, it's not just like a spell you draw into. Let's be a bit fair, I think it goes here. It's very good. It's only 10 points as well, so like it belongs, I think, about here. But as a card, like it's just really, really good. Of course, it takes commitment to go into it, 2 level 4s, so I understand it's not as free as just activating Pot of Greed, but it's very cool, and it's only 10 points.
Upstart Goblin I will put at the bottom of One Day of Peak, just because I think it is a very good card. It's great the fact that it's free, so you can just run 3 copies of it any way you want.
I mean, for that reason enough, I would put it up in the top tier.
Really?
Because it's free and it's a draw 1.
I mean, yeah, I suppose it is very good for that point. I suppose I'm just comparing it to all the other powerful cards we have in One Day of Peak, but I suppose they're more in there for their points system, more so than their actual power level. So yeah, I would probably agree with you with that. Mirage of Nightmare, definitely a better card than Upstart Goblin. Upstart Goblin is free, so yeah, probably deserves to be at the top of the list. Royal Magical Library is 100 points.
Let's go, it's the best card in the game. It's worth 100 points, that's why it's so good.
So here's what's really funny about Royal Magical Library is, like, in TCG and stuff like that, yeah, you can run out 3 copies, it doesn't really matter. The whole point of it is that when it's face up on the field, every time you activate a spell card, you get 1 counter on Royal Magical Library, and then when you get 3 counters on it, you're able to remove those counters in order to draw a card. There was an FDK that people did back in the day with Royal Magical Library and that quick spell Elma, where you basically attach Elma onto, I think it's Gearfree, the Iron Knight. Gearfree would pop that spell card, but then since the activation still went through, Royal Magical Library will get a counter on it, and then when Elma is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you're able to add it back to your hand. So you're able to loop it onto Gearfried over and over again to keep getting draws until Exodia. So for that reason alone, they made Royal Magical Library 100 points, and they made Elma 1 point. So it is literally impossible to do that again. It's kind of a shame that Royal Magical Library had to be the one to suffer the 100 point cost, whereas Elma is, let's face it, still a really bad card. It's just unplayable, this format. Let's be real. It definitely deserves to be at the bottom of the list. Maybe on the higher end of the bottom of the list because there are some worse cards in the list. But yeah, we put it in at least as free, but it is definitely far from free.
I feel like we should have swapped these tiers.
Probably.
Next up, Card Destruction. It is 40 points. Discard your whole hand. Both players discard their whole hands. And both players draw cards equal to the number of cards they discarded. Pretty crazy, to be honest. Your opponent's always going to draw more cards than you do because you have to activate this card, meaning you discard less. It's good disruption because it just discards your whole opponent's hand, and it can trigger a bunch of discard effects. If you're playing a mill deck, it's really good, but you know, steep cost and everything. I think we'll put it like here. It's good, don't get me wrong, but it does not fit in every deck. You do not want to discard your whole hand if you have no like good discard effects, or like being sent to grave effects. Unfortunately, tier is basically dead in this format. So, but I'm sure there's other good like mill decks, so it's okay. It's not terrible at all.
Okay, so Metal Foes Fusion, decent, it's free. However, the only reason you're going to be playing this is if you're running it alongside Foolish Burial Goods, which is 3 points per copy. I would probably... I'm kind of torn between keeping it next to the likes of Pot Desires and Chicken Jockey, or dropping it down kind of next to Super Rejuvenation, just because with Metal Foes Fusion is you're going to be running it alongside with at least 2 copies of Foolish Burial Goods, which will count to 6 points for the 2 copies, 9 points if you're going all in for it. And not every deck can afford the space or can even really utilize it too much, so I probably think it deserves to be on the lower end of this list. I think definitely how many points is the tier it belongs in.
Metal Foes players do not exist. Next up, Golden Bamboo Sword. It is free, and if you control another bamboo card or bamboo sword card, draw 2 cards. you have to play this along with like the bamboo swords, which are not great cards. Like they literally do not do anything. They're equipped cards that make your card gain 0 attack. Some of them have like effects that are like they do something. It's okay. I'll put it like here because no, I'll put it here.
Yeah, next to the Metal Foes Fusion is understandable because you do need to be running other cards with it in order to get it to actually work.
Next up, Dark World Dealings.
5 points. So honestly, not too bad, not the worst.
It is pretty damn good actually. Both players draw a card, discard a card. So I mean, I know giving your opponent a draw is not great, and they can discard a card, and they might have some advantage off that. I mean, for that reason, I guess like about here, because I do think like these cards would be better.
Yeah.
I think it's better than 1 day a piece because first of all, much less cost, and second of all, you get to discard, which can be more beneficial most of the time. So it's pretty cool. Low points as well, so I think it belongs about here. Next up, Hand Destruction. Both players discard 2 cards and draw 2 cards. Pretty good. I mean, it's better Dark World Dealing pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. And the fact that it's free as well means
the fact that it's free is pretty insane, to be honest.
So it's slightly better than Dark World Dealings in that sense. It definitely deserves to be in Chicken Jockey.
Next up, Hope for Escape. One of my favorite cards back in Hat format, playing Exodia. To activate this card, you have to pay 1,000 life points, and on resolution, you will draw 1 card for every 2,000 life point difference between you and your opponent. So the kind of gimmick you want to do with this is give your opponent a bunch of life points with cards like Gift Card, burn yourself with other cards, and then use this, pay 1,000 life points, and draw a bunch of cards, and hopefully get into stuff like Exodia, but also to draw into stuff like Battle Fader to keep yourself alive. Awesome, really funny card, only good in Exodia, and it's not usable in like 99% of decks, but it's funny, so we'll keep it up there.
Jar of Greed.
It's just worse Reckless Greed,
pretty much. Just Reckless Greed -1. Not really much to talk about.
Next up, Pot Prosperity. I'll be honest with you. It's at 1 in the TCG, but because it's 40 points in Genesys format, you can play 2 copies of it. Pot Prosperity is a very strong card. Banish 6 extra deck cards to excavate that many cards from the top of your deck and add 1 to your hand. This card was insane. The amount of like generic kind of staples you could get off of this card was really, really good. There's really no downside to this card, to be honest. I know it's a heavy cost, but if you put this card in your deck, you can fill your deck with a bunch of like really strong one-ofs and just easily search for them. It does half the damage you're going to do for the rest of the turn, which, let's be honest, does not matter. You're not playing this card in a going second deck anyway. It's really, really good. I think it is a very steep cost. It's like one of the highest priced cards on the list, but it's very strong. And the fact that you can run 2 copies of this card, whereas in the TCG you can only run 1 copy, it's just amazing. So I think it belongs in the top tier.
Okay, Magical Mallet, it's free. I mean, some strategies can utilize it. However, not everyone can, so it is not really good. It's pretty much like Reload at the end of the day. So yeah, it kind of deserves to be at the bottom of the list.
Next up, Into the Void. This is a very cheap card, only 3 points. If you have more than 3 cards in your hand, draw a card, but then during the end phase, discard your whole hand. Now, of course, you know, discarding, that's great in certain decks, but if you're playing a deck that can just set all the cards, then you don't have to worry about the discard. And it's just a +1. So, really, really good, especially for only 3 points. I think it belongs about here.
Yeah, definitely agree. Definitely on the higher end of 1 day of peak.
And finally, Pot of Duality. It's free, and basically you're excavating the top 3 cards of your deck, adding 1 to your hand, but then you can have special summon for the whole turn. So, only good in certain decks. It's really good in Flu, but I think Flu was like pretty hefty price in this format. But you know, just for like, I think we'll put it down here about, like, it's okay. It's not bad at all, but it's only good in certain decks.
Yeah, I still think a lot of decks utilize it. I think it'd be pretty good. I might put it, just the fact that it's free as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would probably put it a bit further up on Chicken Jockey, just because, again, it's free, and the decks that can utilize it will be running it at 3. The likes of, I don't know, Dynamorphia and the likes are pretty confident strategies for this format. So yeah, Duality is just a nice little addition to them.
Alright, and that's it for the tier list. So definitely let us know what you think in the comments. The Genesys format is very new, so of course we might not know all the answers. So if you know any cards we missed, definitely let us know. And if you have different opinions than us, let us know in the comments. If you're looking to buy any of these cards, maybe you want to play Genesys format in real life, make sure you use our TCG Player affiliate link in the description. Using that link will directly support the channel and help us keep up the content. If you also want to support the channel and see our videos as soon as we make them, make sure you consider becoming a member. Shout outs to all of our members: Ron Eel, Jojo TCGs, John Cran, Americ Humbert, Johnny, and Dragon God 2025. Thank you all so much for the continued support, we really appreciate it. And again, thanks for watching and stay tuned for more content.